Cable Bahamas has always been considered the innovator.
People can have confidence in Cable Bahamas as a mobile operator because of our past history. We've proven to the Bahamian community that we are in fact able to manage additional services as a telecommunications company.
Customers expect the best from Cable Bahamas.
The technology that we bring is revolutionary technology because we know that the Bahamian public, they deserve it, and Cable Bahamas is here to bring it to them.
We are ready. Turn us on.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the tourism minister says government is doing all it can to ensure Baha Mar's success. The environment minister says critics are missing the point on the proposed environmental bill. Plus, police shoot and killed an armed suspect. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. To MB12, amid growing concerns over Baha Mar's delayed openings, Tourism Minister Wilchcombe says the government will do all it can to help resolve an issue between the developer and its contractor. He also revealed the hotel brands involved in the project have expressed concern over the matter. Dana Smith reports.
Noting the Bahamas is a country that depends on airlift and inventory, Wilchcombe said the time for an impasse is over and the parties concerned need to find a solution.
Well, my concern is getting the resort open right now. It is a fantastic development. You look at the brands associated with it. The world is waiting for it. What it means for our tourism growth, job opportunities, career opportunities, that's important. I think whatever the sides have to work out must be worked out. I think the saber rattling, the impasse, I think the time for that is over. They've got to find a working solution to get it all done.
Concerns persist over what exactly is causing the delays at Baha Mar. Prime Minister Perry Christie has confirmed the developer cannot get an opening date from the contractor, and the contractor will not commit to such a date until certain payments are made. Christie said his focus is saving the thousands of Bahamian jobs at the resort. Bahamian electricians employed by a subcontractor at Baha Mar claimed earlier this week they had not been paid for 6 weeks, and they fear with the Baha Mar project winding down, they may never get paid. And it's not just employees working on the site who have concerns. Wilchcombe said the hotel brands involved in the Baha Mar development also have worries.
You have brands like Rosewood, you have a brand like Hyatt. You have to remember now, those brands are sitting on those properties, and obviously the owners and the presidents of these companies are very concerned if it's going to sit idle. So what we have to do is we have to ensure that there is a resolution is found, that they get this thing behind us and we move forward. I believe that once that happens and a date is given, we're going to be able to change the direction and immediately get the information out there.
Wilchcombe said he doesn't want confidence to be lost by the owners of Rosewood or the Grand Hyatt. The SLS Lux is another hotel at Baha Mar. He said, quote, "I want all players to remain on deck." The Baha Mar project has already been delayed 3 times. It was initially slated to open in December 2014, but that opening was delayed to March 2015. Days before that March opening, the hotel announced it was delaying its opening once more to the first week of May. But in a letter to staff on May 1st, Baha Mar's CEO advised the company could not get a commitment from its contractor on the opening. When asked if government is fed up with the delays, Wilchcombe said government understands business and is working with the relevant parties to arrive at a solution as quickly as possible.
What we seek to do is we seek to sit down and work with them to get it all resolved. So to say we're fed up, I don't think that's the word that I'd want to use or the phrase I want to use. I want to say that we are determined to make it all work. Everything happens for purpose and for reason, and nothing happens before it's time. So this could all be a part of a better plan that we don't even know about. So I don't want to put that out there. What I want to say is that how best to deal with it we're seeking, and how quickly to deal with it we're hoping. So we're trying to get it all done as quickly as possible.
Reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Dana Smith.
Well, Free National Movement Chairman Michael Pintard says while he supports government's move to facilitate talks between Baha Mar and its contractor over the resort's opening date, the Christie administration should also resolve its own issue with Baha Mar over the cost of the rerouted West Bay Street. The two parties still have not reached an agreement over how much money government should pay Baha Mar for the road work.
It is our hope that the owner and contractor would be able to get past the differences they are presently experiencing, and that the Prime Minister and his Minister of Labour should exercise some leadership and to see how they might play a role in helping move those discussions along, and in injecting themselves into this discussion as they must. They should also seek to speedily resolve the impasse that exists between them and Baha Mar, so that they can be credible brokers at the table.
Pintard said unemployment remains a concern for the FNM, especially unemployment among young Bahamians, and government needs to address the concerns of some Baha Mar workers who may be feeling anxious over the resort's delayed opening.
The staff at Baha Mar no doubt have a tremendous amount of anxiety. A lot of them have come home. A number of them have left other jobs expecting that this would be the dream job, a job of a lifetime, and ultimately it may turn out that way. But presently there's a tremendous amount of anxiety. And not just for that category of workers, but for those whose gratuities are being withheld. And that is really an unconscionable position.
Well, from the crime beat, police shoot and killed one of 4 armed suspects who allegedly opened fire on officers during a standoff in the Masons Addition area. According to police reports, around 3:30 this morning, police received reports of gunshots being fired in the Fort Finn Castle and Masons Addition area. Responding officers reportedly came face to face with 4 armed men with assault rifles who opened fire on them. Police returned fire, killing one of the suspects, whom they allege had a Glock pistol in his possession. Another suspect was arrested at the scene after officers recovered an AK-47 assault rifle that he allegedly dropped on the ground. Reports are that 2 other suspects fled on foot, but officers chased them, capturing one of them. The other suspect is still being sought by police. Authorities are appealing to anyone with information on that 4th suspect to contact them anonymously at 919 or 328-TIPS. While critics of government's proposed Environmental Planning and Protection Bill 2015 have said that it stops short of an actual Environmental Protection Act specifically designed to legislate the consequences of breaking environmental laws. But Environment Minister Kenrick Dorset said those critics are focusing on the wrong thing. He told MB12 at the core of the new bill is founded on principles to protect and sustain the country's natural environment.
I think first and foremost, I think people are getting caught up in the name rather than the functionality. We are creating an environmental planning and protection agency to underscore the importance not only of protecting the environment, but in terms of sustainable planning for our country. And so we are creating a Department of Environmental Planning and Protection that will focus on both elements.
Last week, Save the Bay's chairman and attorney Fred Smith QC called the bill a knee-jerk reaction to growing criticism over the Rubis oil spill. Environmental attorney Ramald Ferreira said anything other than an EPA was insufficient. But Dorset said this proposed bill will advance an act to make environmental legislation a cabinet priority.
We will ensure that those conventions are opposed in the ministry. There's a statutory provision that will be made for them. And so the ministry will continue to become the focal point. But more importantly, and this is something that environmentalists have cried out for a very long time, we will no longer have to rely on a prime minister being sensitized to the need to have a minister responsible for the environment. It's going to be entrenched in statute. So no matter what, we will always have a minister responsible for the environment or a ministry of environment. And I think that's really hopeful and promising for the future.
Government recently released the draft legislation for public input. Dorset acknowledged the bill will not address all of the concerns environmentalists have.
We've asked stakeholders to provide us with their input by the end of July, and hopefully that will then enable us to use the month of August to review all of the commentary and feedback, and then present something to Cabinet and Parliament, hopefully in the fall, so that we can get this done before the end of the year. But the reality is, we expect for people to provide their criticisms as well as their input in writing to the ministry, so that we can take into consideration everybody's views on the matter.
Stay with us. When MB12 returns, we give you the latest on the creation of a national intelligence agency, so stay tuned.